Fesley sent me another guitar to show you. This time it's one of their nicer ones with a flamey maple top. It's the FDK800. Let's crack it open and see what color I got. Fesley is a brand that I've covered a couple times. I think the first time I bought the guitar and then they sent me another one after that. I found them to be pretty dang fun guitars, especially for the price point. The previous ones I've covered were all kind of like, I think in like the 150 to 180 sort of range. Got a bag here with stuff in it. A fret polishing pad. All right, that's a new one. Seems like there's a lot of goodies in here. A tuner. Of course, a cable. And it actually looks kind of decent. It's not one of those molded plastic Radio Shack style cables. Okay. Polishing cloth. And of course, a strap. And what is this? Picks. A little pack of picks. They included some goodies. This is... I would never expect this. A fret polishing pad. All right. I'll take it. Anything hiding in here? I haven't run into the wiggle stick yet. It's making me a little bit nervous. There's the wiggle stick. And here we go. Color reveal. Flamey purple burst. Seems to be a trend for me lately. I covered a guitar a week ago with a purple burst thing going on. A reverse purple burst to this though. Oh, we got 2 packs of silica gel. One for me and one for the missus. We won't tell the kids that we got treats. Traditional style screw-in trim arm here. It's not doing the more modern push-in Wilkinson style thing. Let's take a look at what we got here. Get the tags off and everything. Oh, and by the way, Fesley also sent me their little battery-powered 10-watt amplifier. So I'll be cracking that open and checking it out at some point in the video as well. But I'm going to be plugging this guitar into my regular amps first. So there it is. A little Fesley branded battery amp. All right, so let's take a look at what we've got here. Very classy presentation on the headstock. Black painted headstock with a gold embossed logo on there. Truss rod adjustment at the headstock. Some sort of synthetic nut material. It seems very similar to like a tusk kind of material. It's got the Fesley circle inlays across the fretboard. Black hardware across the board. Black tuners, black bridge, black pickups, black knobs, black switch tip. Goes well with that striking purple burst. A nice little bit of depth and shimmer on that purple. It's not extreme by any means, but it's pretty. The neck feels a little bit of fret bite going on here. They could be smoothed off the edges of the fretboard just a little bit. I mean, it's like a $200 guitar. So there's only so much you can expect in that territory. The neck itself feels like it's a fuller modern C. Not like crazy big or anything like that, but it definitely fills the hand in a comfortable way. Looks like a relatively thin trim block back there. No big surprises at this price point. Any secrets hiding? Nope, no push pulls or anything like that. Let's plug it in and see what it sounds like, and I'll describe how it plays and all that business. It's all tuned up. I can say that the tuners feel fine. They're nice and smooth and firm. No issues there. But this thing is going to need a setup. I can tell that they didn't set it up to be tuned at the factory because the bridge is pitching forward fairly dramatically. Not crazy, but enough that I'm going to want to get into the spring cavity and tighten up those springs to pull it back down a bit. And I'm sure I'm going to be adjusting the saddles down to get better action at and beyond the 12th fret. It looks like everything is nice and fast up here. The neck is laser straight, so no issues there. Maybe even give it a little bit more relief when I lower that action. Let's play around with it and see what it sounds like. I'm getting some hum. Wait. No. On the last tone knob there is pushed too far into the body and it's grinding on the finish. We've got some fit and finish issues going on here. Also, is this a three-way switch? Or is it, that can't be. What's going on here? All right. It's a five-way switch, but you can't access the bridge and the neck alone. It looks like maybe the switch tip is blocking it from realizing its full range. Can I even get the switch tip off? Jeez. Running into some issues here right off the bat that I'm not terribly stoked about. Let's see if I can get the switch tip off. There we go. Okay, I had to take the switch tip off to access all 5 positions across the switch. Can I put it on there a little bit looser? I think someone might have just really jammed it on there further than it wanted to go. This thing got kind of roughed together, didn't it? Because now it's working just fine. But I think someone just really jammed it all the way down. I should have taken a picture before I fixed the issue. So now we've got all the expected settings across a 5-way switch. It's not limited to 3 positions. That was a completely new one. Someone must have just really, really pushed that switch tip down on there to get it past where it was supposed to be. Yeah, I've never run into that. I'm leaving it in the video in case you get one of these and you have questions. You're like, I'm going to go find a video to see if anyone points that out. I pointed it out. Someone at the factory at Fesley is pushing those switch tips on way too far. All right, let's get into it. Also, that last tone knob there is really cranked on there. Can I release that a little bit so I can use it? There we go. All right. Here is the sound of that bridge humbucker. The trem feels real stiff. Oh. And it's hanging up on something. What is going on here? I'm going to have to crack open the back and see what's happening. Am I going to have to give this thing a full setup just to demo it? I mean, this is the real stuff. This is, if you ever wondered if guitar YouTubers are honest, I can say in my case, Judge for yourself. I'm showing you there's issues with this guitar out of the box. And I can't speak for all the other channels. All right, arm is in. If we can visually see what this is hanging up on. It's the springs. The springs are grabbing onto the edge of the wood block right there. Yikes. Well, I'm going to take this opportunity to crank these down a little bit. Maybe a lot bit. Let's see if we can level out that trem a bit while I'm here. This one's off to a bit of a rough start. I've got that bridge level with the body now, or at least really, really close to it. It's still floating, but it's riding flat. It's in tune for the moment. Let's see if those springs bottom out again now that I've leveled it. No, they're not doing that anymore. Good. They're still riding a bit close to that edge, but they're not grinding on it anymore. I should have gotten a close-up shot while it was grinding. Maybe the overhead camera caught it. Hopefully, anyways. This one's off to a bit of a rough start. I feel sorry for Fesley, but they sent it. You know, this is the guitar that they sent. Let's try doing a great big open G chord, and I'll do a little bit of casual work with the trem arm, with the wiggle stick, to see what happens. It's in tune right now. It's a little out, but that's not bad. That's reasonable. Maybe the strings just need to get broken in a bit. I did stretch them while I was tuning up. I don't know if you saw that in the time lapse. Yeah, it doesn't like those big dives. I'm going to tune it up, then we're going to forget about the wiggle stick. Alright, let's just check out the sounds of the pickups. Oh man, by the way, I haven't mentioned it until now. I'm running into the Two Princeton's rig. Gave you guys a little bit extra this time. It feels like we all need it today, right? All right, back to exploring that humbucker. It's got that really bright, hot, aggressively like crisp ceramic pickup sort of thing going on, which, you know, they are ceramic pickups. I can tell from the pull pieces that that's what's going on here. Let's move on to the number 2 position. Nice strummy sound there. Tuna time again. was just a little bit out, but I wanted to make sure I stayed on top of it. Here is the middle position. Number 4 position. And the neck. Can't play with a little light flutter with that trim, but I'm going to stay away from diving it. All right, let's throw some overdrive at it and go back to the bridge humbucker. I'm running into the left side of the Chase Bliss / Analog Man Brothers AM, which is basically a king of tone. And I don't have the right side on right now, but I have it set up to be a boost to push into this, to push it into full-blown distortion when we get there. I mean, it hits that overdrive nice. It's full, it's warm, it's got a thick low end to it, but plenty of highs. It's doing a ceramic humbucker sort of thing. Here is the number 2 position. Number 2, that's the strummy position on this guitar. Middle position. Number 2. And the neck. Let's go for some higher gain sounds, turning on that boost side. And we're back on the bridge humbucker. Number 2. Middle position. Number 4 position. And the neck. And we should throw some spring reverb at it with the Surfy Bear. Do the gliss test. That was the bridge. Here's the number 2. Middle. Number 4. And the neck. Like some smooth bluesy sorts of sound. Number 4. Middle. Number 2. And the bridge. Let's check out the little battery amp. I'll bring down the podcast mic to record it. Hopefully that will give everyone a good impression of what kind of sounds we get from this thing. So we've got a Bluetooth auxiliary volume. This could just be fun as a little Bluetooth speaker. Gain, tone, and volume, and then clean or drive settings. So it's a 3-knob amp with a Bluetooth or auxiliary volume control right there. Sounds like a battery amp. That's the one I want to adjust. Gain all the way up, on the clean channel, which still has got some dirt on it. Here is that dirty channel. There we go. It seems to be holding tune all right now. I think the strings just needed to get broken in, and I needed to raise that bridge a little bit so the springs didn't clip on the edge. Fun little dirty amplifier. See how clean I can get it. It wants to be a little bit dirty no matter what. Now we're getting some clean when I'm on the single coils, but you hit it with the humbucker and there's gonna be dirt. A little bit out of tune now. So anyways, I've gone through the guitar and I've got some opinions. This is tough because I've covered two other Fesleys in the past, cheaper Fesleys. And I liked them. I liked them quite a bit. I thought that they were really good buys. This guitar is suffering from setup issues. It didn't get the setup that it needed in the factory before it got thrown into a box. Those springs grabbing on to the edge of the route there. If a new player bought this and they were trying to use it, they'd have no idea what's going on. They'd have no idea why the bridge is grinding and clunking and not returning to tune. They wouldn't know that the bridge needs to be leveled and stuff like that. The issue with the switch, I don't think a beginner would know what's going on there either. They would leave it and just be like, oh yeah, it's got 3 different settings on there, and not know that they're missing 2 whole settings because the switch got jammed on there way too tight. There's some solid bones here, but yeah, like I'm gonna end up clickbaiting this video with the title and the thumbnail by going like, do YouTubers get sent special guitars? Like, are we getting something in that vein? You know, I'm gonna have to workshop that a little bit. Do YouTubers get sent the best guitars? Clearly we don't. And I've run into this in the past, especially with, you know, affordable guitars in this price range. Like the QC is always a bit of a gamble. Sometimes you get something set up great out of the box and it's so impressive. And sometimes like honestly, this sort of stuff is what we could all be expecting out of guitars at this price point. The frets are a little bit sharp. but the neck is comfortable. The neck is solid. I wasn't, struggling to play this thing. The comfort level of it, I'd be fine handing this to a new player. But here, learn on this guitar. Those edges of the frets, as a, established and experienced guitarist, I would be attacking this with a little file for, about 10 or 15 minutes to get it the way that I want to, just to dial back the roughness on the edges of those. I'm sure I'd end up lubing the nut as well, or even opening up those slots a little bit, trying to chase some tuning stability. The bridge itself, it doesn't feel great to me. It's got that kind of like gummy, slow feel to it. I like a nice, loose, fluttery sort of trim. Maybe setup could help that. But yeah, it's coming across as a fairly cheap piece of hardware. The pickups sound exactly like I would expect a set of ceramic pickups in a $200-ish guitar to sound. There's no surprises there. There's no letdowns there. I'm also not over the moon about them. They are what they are. I think it's pretty. Nice purple flame on there. Binding on the edges. Black hardware. It seems to ground. I've run into cheap guitars with black hardware that refuse to ground in the past, and I've had to file away a little bit of the black finish. This one seems to ground just fine. With playing, it started to come into tuning stability. I don't know. What do you guys think? 200 something bucks, depending, on the day of the week, if there's any Amazon deals or anything like that. Does this, strike your fancy? Does it grab your attention? Are you thinking yeah, it's got good bones though. I could work on it if I got one that had those QC issues. Or are those issues a deal breaker for you? I want to know what you think. But yeah, it looks attractive. It plays just fine. It'll play better after a setup. The action's still a little bit high at the 12th, but it's plenty fast up here in the cowboy chord area. It seemed to ring true as I was strumming and playing. I don't want to just completely dog on it for the QC issues. It is a guitar. You can play this guitar. If you have just basic setup skills, you're going to be able to get past the issues that I ran into. But if you're a beginner, I'd have to, suggest that you try something else after my experience with this one. So hopefully that's fair. Hopefully you guys don't think I'm dragging a company just to drag them. Hopefully the company doesn't think that either. But, issues like this, I've got to report them. I've got to tell you what I run into here. It doesn't make me happy, but it's the job, It's what I do. So anyways, thanks, Fesley, for sending this out for me to check out. But yeah, a little bit of a deflated demo for this thing because of the issue. So anyways, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, leave me a rude, nasty comment, support us on Patreon, buy a shirt if you're naked, and stay grounded. Bye, everybody.